Unbeknown to many, abandoned to decay for years, neglected and forgotten, the Chapel of St. Andrew, today, in spite of times, stands erect, carrying a huge historical and cultural heritage. It is situated below Amarikis Square, on Lefkosius Street at Patissia, and is dated in the era of the Ottoman rule, in the 16th century. It is a Byzantine stone chapel, which constituted the Catholicon of the holy monastery of St. Philothea of Athens. It was in this dependency of Patissia where St. Philothea prayed frequently. At the night of the 2nd of October 1588, a sacred vigil was being officiated to the honor of St. Dionysius the Areopagite. It was then that a few Turks invaded the church, seized the saint, tied her to a pillar, and whipped her, leaving her half dead, until she eventually succumbed to her wounds. In fact, until this day is preserved in the venue of the church the pillar where the saint martyred. She was entombed at the right side of the holy bema of St. Andrew, and much later her relic was transported to the metropolis of Athens. Following the dormition of the saint, the dependency increased its area with the purchase of neighborly estates. There is no further information on the dependency. According to Orlando's, in all probability the chapel was abandoned a little while before the National Revolution, and ever since the site was used as a cemetery, as arises from the existence of graves, but also a barrel-vaulted ossuary next to the third from the east column of the southern colonnade. The chapel is a three-aisled timber-roofed basilica. The eastern side bears a demi-hexagonal apse, while in the middle of the western side, previously, there was only one entry gate, above which one could adore the semicircular conch in which St. Andrew was depicted. It was decorated with marble pieces which were transported from ancient buildings of the nearby area. At the northern and southern wall one can discern the typical small windows alluding to crenelles, a feature of the era of the Ottoman rule. The interior of the church is divided by two colonnades into three aisles. Each colonnade is comprised of three marble columns of a height of 3 meters with capitals. The sanctuary does not communicate with the diaconicon and the prophysis. It remains separated with a closed wall. For many decades the church was completely deserted, until in the year 1940 Anastasios Orlandos restored the church, and 10 years later it was crafted with religious icons by Fotis Kontoglou and his disciples Georgios Gliatus and Pantelis Odarbasis, within 9 months. As Kontoglou himself said, his aim was to craft the icon painting of the church with longing and abundant care, so that the church becomes a model of modern Byzantine icon painting. In the chapel, Kontoglou grappled with the templon, from which he started his work in the church in 1948, namely 2 years earlier than on the murals. The wooden carved templon of the church is somehow low, a fact which led the icon painter to paint the holy figures in the icons up to the middle. Distinctive is the especially original mural with St. Philothea at the center of the southern wall, which is inscribed, St. Philothea with her entourage at the holy monastery of St. Andrew. In particular, the saint is depicted as Mother Superior, tall and haloed preceding. She is accompanied by 6 nuns. Furthermore, the church is depicted restored, while the rest of the buildings, the cells, the tower, and the bell tower recall an Athenite Byzantine monastery. Kontoglou, in fact, referring to the particular icon painting mentioned, God has graced me, and I adorned it with religious icons, as it was my longing. Among others I painted also the monastery, as it was then, with the prioress St. Philothea and the sisters going to church. In the small courtyard, there are preserved fountains and columns from the original construction of the church.